Cool. What's going on? What's up? My name is Joe Lewis. I talk on the internet. And happy New Year's. Gabby Boo Jeers. I hope you're doing well. And I hope you have or are having a pretty good start to the new year. I'm just chilling. But I have something on my mind and I want to utilize new features on these apps. So I kind of want to talk about a clip, and I'll run the clip and then we'll talk about it. And then it's very short, it's like 2 minutes. Let's get it. 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 I have my overlays up for my Twitch stream, so this is gonna be kind of cool.
My question is, it seems that we're always dealing with the symptoms of the problems instead of the bigger issues. And it seems that's one of the issues that could kind of fix all the issues is talking about reparations, and we don't talk about reparations enough in this country. And the last that I checked, the House had gotten the HB 40 past committee, and as far as I can tell, that's where it stopped. And I know you're in the Senate, so I'm not sure what you can do about that, but I did just wonder what you could do to further that cause in America right now.
So there is a bill to study the issue of reparations. Here's what I'm for: equity and opportunity. And I wake up every day fighting for that. And I do it in such a way that I think benefits all of us. But when you look at the issue of healthcare, for example, if we can get Medicaid expanded, it would help all of us if we could get Medicaid expanded, if we could get a fix. But it would have a disproportionate impact on communities of color because the disparities are so great. When we invest in jobs, when we invest in infrastructure, when we invest in a whole range of these things, when we deal with the expanded child tax credit, which helps 97% of families with children. But when you look at the racial wealth gap, it will be a great help to communities of color and other marginalized people.
When you are talking about injustice claims from particular groups of people, I think we have to start really holding politicians accountable to the best of our abilities and holding people when they talk about these things accountable. Reparations is a lineage-based injustice claim, period. And it's a lineage-based injustice claim around Black people. And we have to stop letting politicians and people who practice talking to us falling into this trap of like communities of coloring and persons of coloring their way through these issues. He was directly asked about this bill, which again, it's just a bill to study. This is just the HR 40 Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposals for African Americans Act. That's all this is. And this is a bill, as was mentioned, that has already passed committee. It was discharged in April. What's funny is that, or funny, interesting, I don't really know the word to use, but it's funny, I guess I'll use, that Raphael Warnock touted on his own website a bill that he sponsored or co-authored, which is HR 5905. Senator Raphael Warnock introduces landmark legislation to provide Black World War II veterans descendants full GI Bill benefits. So the thing about this for me, which is really interesting, is that even if you go to look at what's going on with his own bill that's in the same time span, it's not even out of committee. It just got referred. So when Raphael Warnock is answering this question, you would think that, if he's honest, that he would talk about the other ways that he's helping Black Americans that might not be directly based to reparations, but they explicitly help Black Americans in his pitch to not only answering the individual's question, but also recognizing that, hey, Black people, I acknowledge your injustice claim. I'm acknowledging your potential argument of redress. Instead, he wants to sort of POC his way through it, because in his response he doesn't mention Black once. So that's that rhetorical stuff that's getting a little annoying. And again, it's gonna confuse a lot of people, and those confused people are gonna go and vote for someone like Raphael Warnock. But I think it's totally fair to call out his bullshit. And there's nothing, and look, man, I'm just gonna be real with you. Politicians are gonna bullshit you. They're gonna bullshit you on your own injustice claims. And like, you're not gonna hear, if we're talking about helping women in sports, if your injustice claim around women in sports has to rope in other groups of people just to say like, oh, this is not only going to benefit women, it's also going to benefit men, then you're not serious. You're not serious about the injustice claim. Like, because you know, all those help girls in sports, they're not bringing in men to the equation at all, because they know that's bullshit. They know it's dishonest. And then I don't even want to give points to the right on that type of nonsense, but at least they're alluding to some type of being in tune to the group that they're talking to and trying to target. And this is something that I think we need to start paying attention to for these politicians who are alleging that they're for equity and that they're for quote unquote equality, whatever that means. Like, we have to be, if we're having an injustice claim and conversations about particular injustice claims, you have to be honest about the group that you're targeting, because you can't just on one hand be very direct with HR 5905, but then POC your way through HR 40. Like, these two worlds can't exist. And again, we're talking like, this is what, January, this is in April. This one is in November. So it's like very interesting how politicians talk about these things, and I think we need to pay attention to how they talk about these things, because I think we can recognize that there aren't a lot of politicians that are for Black people, that are for women, that are for trans athletes and trans folks broadly, like, because when it's finally time to talk about these injustice claims from these groups of people, you have politicians trying to big tent politic their way through it. And I think it's time and necessary to call out politicians and even people who are advocates in our own circles on their own bullshit when they try to big tent politic through these problems. And I understand, like, oh no, but our votes, oh no. But like, if we're gonna be serious about injustice claims, then we ought to start treating the individuals who are declaring the injustice claims seriously.